from WAMU 88.5 at American University in Washington. Welcome to the Kojo Namdi Show, connecting your neighborhood with the world. Several years ago, retirees all over the region began creating organizations to help themselves and their neighbors age in place. Got an email or a call from Martine in Silver Spring, who says some of us in Silver Spring are starting a village.
It was an adventure, something that none of them had ever done before. It was like climbing a mountain, or making your first scuba dive, or jumping out of an airplane, or let's let them tell the story of the spaceship that became a village.
I love to build intergalactic spaceships. By that I mean complex organizations where you have to fit all the pieces together.
There was no manual for spaceship design. They made it up as they went along.
Starting a village and running a village is a lot of work. I think that we had no idea.
So I had quit my job, my professional job, because I wanted to give back to the community. And I started teaching this bone builders class, which was a new class in the county. And in the training class, I meet Martine, and we became friends. And one day she says to me, "Have I ever heard of a senior village?" And I'm going, "No, where is it?" Obviously, one person could never do it all, and we didn't really know what we were doing anyway. So we figured, okay, the more people, the more we could, figure it all out together.
If Martine Brezius was the architect, Roberta Gosier was the fuel cell of this new spaceship.
First met Roberta Gosier singing in the choir at St. Michael the Archangels in Silver Spring.
She was an interesting combination,
Mm-hmm.
She had those instincts like that, the organizer yet the good heart,
They thought it was a great idea. So why wouldn't others also think it was a great idea? They networked. And they found scores of people who agreed with them. It was a great idea. Unfortunately, that was just about all they agreed on. If you put 10 people into a planning meeting, you'll get 100 opinions. The perfect soon became the enemy of the good.
Nobody had any first-hand knowledge of a village, but everyone had an idea of what the ideal, let's say, elephant should look like. People should pay. People didn't have to pay. People should be 60 years old. People could be any age. People could have to live in downtown Silver Spring.
A few years of that churn was like slipping on ice. It was enough to drive even the most determined right over the edge.
One night she came home and said, letting her hair down to me, she says, "We got to stop planning and start doing."
My thought was, hey, we just have to get the hogs off the truck and do the damn thing.
A few of us had lunch together at the Copper Canyon restaurant in Silver Spring. And besides those of us working on our village, Peggy Simpson from one of the DC area villages was there. And she just said, you got to just do it.
Pretty soon, it was all systems go, Silver Spring. The village officially opened for business on September 29, 2013, and it held a gala opening event on October 20th.
I saw Roberta the day before she died. I went up to Holy Cross to see her, and didn't know that she was on her way out. I know she was really sick. I just looked at her, I said, "You did it." She said, "No, we did it."
For 7 years, Silver Spring Village thrived. Much of this work was led by another founder, Mary Ann Zimmerman. As a single woman fighting cancer, but still living at home and fully engaged in the community, Mary Ann instinctively knew how the village could impact others.
I'm proud of what we've done. I think we do a good job at the things that we said we were going to do, and we've been able to keep it up.
To the surprise and joy of some of its original founders, member-sponsored activities grew at an amazing rate with equally amazing variety.
The interest groups grew because other people saw other people doing it. But the other part, they did things for themselves.
Silver Spring Village became so strong that it was able to open its wings to a fledgling village in nearby Kemp Mill. They eventually merged to the benefit of both.
A friend of mine who was on the board still at the time talked to me about it. She said, "We're thinking about approaching the Silver Spring Village and seeing, is it a possibility where we could be merged in? What do you think, Bev?" And I said, "Well, I think it's a super idea because, again, the Silver Spring Village has such a strong reputation in the county."
Then, something very scary appeared. Its name was COVID.
So COVID was very much a shock to the system. It was, frankly, I think, traumatic, both as individuals and as an organization. I recall very clearly it was Friday the 13th of March, 2020. I had been at the village for maybe 5 months at that point, and I suddenly found myself having to say, we need to shut this down.
I think the reason why we succeeded in getting through COVID and why we're here for 10 years is because we did get a paid staff. That really makes a difference. And it became very clear during COVID.
One of the most frustrating parts of the COVID experience was a year or so after the appearance of the disease to find that we had vaccines, but no one could get them.
One of the other things that we were able to do because we had paid staff, as well as some very active volunteers, is we could start making calls and going online to make vaccination appointments for our members.
So at the beginning of the COVID pandemic, when we began looking at how we could do things differently, Zoom obviously was the big thing. And we were the only village in this area, and as far as I know, the only village in the country that was using Zoom to the extent that we were very early on in the pandemic. By the end of the first month of the pandemic, we had every single one of our social, recreational, educational groups going on Zoom, and I really think that is what made the difference and held the village together throughout the pandemic.
Silver Spring Village today is robust and growing. The village was recognized by Spur Local as one of the most critical and highly trusted nonprofits in the greater DC region.
So I see the future of the village as it's reflected in our vision statement, and that is to become the indispensable partner in Silver Spring for successful and happy aging.
One of the things I'm a big advocate for is to either join or volunteer when you're younger before you actually need the services, because then you start to build friendships. And when you do go to retire, you're already set up with friend base, and when you need the services, it's your friends who are helping you out.